Welcome, everybody, to Lev Remembers Daily Show. Today is March 6th, 2025. Another crazy day in the United States and Trump world. Well, we're here today. We're going to bring you the insider's perspective on all the latest breaking news involving, obviously Russia, Ukraine, and our current president, Donald Trump, and his administration. I also encourage you to definitely subscribe to my Substack, where we're going to be doing a lot of interesting things. But one of those interesting and good things is we're going to do a Q&A live every day with you as my subscribers, so you could ask me the question one-on-one and participate and get your answers. Today, Alex, there's a lot going on. Where do I begin? First of all, I think Trump's dismantling the Department of Education. He can't make up his mind on the tariffs, if he's going to put the tariffs on, is he going to postpone the tariffs? The Dow is tanking. It's down another 450 points. But two of the important things that I want to get to and talk to you about today that is, really startling is, first of all, there's Trump's talking about revoking legal status for 240,000 Ukrainians that are in the United States, refugees. But worse than that, because we don't have a confirmation on that, if it's, this is just talk, but we're having, and I've received confirmation already that Trump has spoken to both opposition for Zelenskyy and really pushing for these elections. He's spoken to Petro Poroshenko and Yulia Tymoshenko. And it's so ironic. I feel like this is Groundhog's Day all over again, because these are the same cast of characters that I was involved with, that he sent me in 2019 to put pressure on to be able to announce an investigation into the Bidens at that time. And now these are the same people that he are again involved, and again it's up to Zelenskyy to to be able, he's putting pressure on to give Russia, basically give Ukraine away. It's ironic to see all of that. So, Alex, there's a lot to discuss, but let me hear what's going on in Ukraine. What's going on over there? Tell us what's happening.
Well, hello, Lev. Thanks for having me. First of all, let's start with the 240,000 Ukrainians. Those are the people that when the war started, sold everything they had, put every penny together they had, and just to come to America to get a better chance in life. And these people, most of these people, they have no place to go back to, a lot of them, especially the ones that came during the war. This is very, very bad. This is even non-human a bit. Second story about
I can't even imagine, Alex. I'm sorry. I know, and I know a lot of these people. I know a lot of these families. I've been involved in helping, especially down here in South Florida, relocating them, giving them, and just seeing them and hearing their stories. The kids are now going to school. Not only did these people give everything up, sold everything, came here, but now it's not like they were living the life of Adam in the United States. They were suffering. They had no money. They came to a new country, new language. Their kids, they had to get them into school. They had to get jobs. And I'm talking about jobs. You have to understand, these are people that came here, doctors, lawyers, professionals, people that had to now go clean houses, that had to go, look after, older individuals, do all kinds of jobs, odds and ends, to be able to survive, to be able to start finally maybe breaking and making it in the United States, making it in the country. And now they're all scrambling on the verge of being sent back to, again, nothing, to a war-torn country where now it's even worse, and to nothing, basically. It's I can't even tell you, the stories that I'm hearing, but go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
Well, listen, America, especially in Ukraine, everybody's dream was to come to America. And if people got a permission to come to America, especially like you said, lawyers, doctors, that was their new chance to make a life. And even I told all the Ukrainians, I said, if you want to live a quality life, America is a place to live. Ukraine is great. It has freedom. It has a lot of beautiful things. But at the moment, America is I told everybody it's number one in the world. Now that is changing. And it's changing very rapidly. And then I feel bad for those people, because I took part in helping some of those people to come to America. So
Yeah.
it's very bad.
Especially
Anyway,
the kids. Especially the kids. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, those are the kids that my daughter still, if she hears a sound, she looks up, because at one time the rocket exploded in the air and she got scared. So all those kids, they're already terrorized. They already have psychiatric situations in their minds, and this on top, uncertainty. This is very non-human. But that said, as far as the elections, they're very heavy pressure into the elections, because I believe once they get the elections in Ukraine and the country divides, this is like this is for Russia. Russia wins, because if country is divided, it cannot fight. As far as the Timoshenko and Poroshenko goes, Timoshenko, about several weeks ago, she went live on Ukrainian television, and she said, there is no way anybody in the world can force this country to have an election. She said that. And then a week later, that when they had the vote, when everybody supported Zelenskyy, and Poroshenko was one of them as well. On the first time, he didn't understand what he meant. The second time, he also voted. So there is no way they can go behind Zelenskyy back and force the election in Ukraine. Because especially right now, all over the channels, the whole Ukraine is talking that America put us under the train. So they know that if America wants something from Ukraine, it's not for Ukraine good. So the more they push it, the more it's gonna be pushed back.
It's so crazy how we've come. I mean, and literally, I think in the past 2 months, we've come such a crazy first circle where now you hear Canadians booing American national anthems. You have Ukrainians are talking about that, if, like you just said, your own words, that if it's coming from the United States, it can't be good. I mean, these are countries that, would used to talk about the United States as like, the best thing since sliced bread. And now you hear them talking about like, like we're evil or something. I mean, it's so crazy to see this happen in such a quick period of time. And the other thing I want to touch base on is, this opposition with the Trump administration speaking to them. I think it's extremely dangerous what's going on here. And, I want to break it down to our public a little bit, so our viewers, for them to understand what's actually happening. If you recall, Trump just had the State of the Union not too long ago, a day or two ago. And at the State of the Union, he even mentioned that Zelenskyy wrote him a letter that they were going to get this deal done. Zelenskyy came out, also did a video. He also sent an official letter saying that he definitely wants to sign the mineral deal. He wants to, basically apologize, basically did whatever Trump has to do to try to get this deal done. But the deal is still not done. There's nothing signed. There's no invitation. And the push is happening. Instead, the push is happening behind the scenes to continuously talk about holding an election. Even today, you had Elon Musk tweeting on his X, or Xing, whatever, posting on X, talking about how Zelenskyy needs to give up the reign. He needs to hold up an election, that the push is still going strong about getting this election. Because I think in Russia right now, from what I'm hearing, they're basically worried a little bit because of what's happening right now. Because before Ukraine was under the wrath of the United States, they basically did whatever the United States said. After what happened at the Oval, you see a shift happening where now, Trump has pushed the Europeans and the Ukrainians so far away from the United States that they're starting, before everybody would say the Europeans do a lot of talking, but not enough action. I think this time around, you're starting to see the action back up the talking, So I think it's extremely eye-opening to see that even though Trump is coming out saying, okay, yes, we're going to do something with the Ukrainians, there's still a major push to try to somehow, because just think about it. Even if they were to get the Ukrainians to hold an election and have a disruption, that's a win for the Russians also.
Automatic.
All of that, because that would destroy the country. No, Alex?
Yes, because right now everybody's fighting as one, and then next thing you know, they are divided. And you know the rule: divide and conquer. This is what they want. Plus, something. You're right. It's not only what Putin didn't want. Putin wanted to do everything possible to have NATO be quiet, not to bother him. what he's doing right now, making Europe strong, because Trump woke Europe up. And right now is totally the opposite things are happening in Europe, because they woke up, they allowed spending more money, uh, build more weapons, build ships. So everything is changing in the manner. Plus, not only that, Putin depends on oil. All, the entire financing comes from oil, because of as soon as Trump stopped aid to Ukraine, the oil prices went down like every day. The oil is getting cheaper, the stock market is dropping down. So it's the opposite of what Russia wanted.
Oh no, that's why I'm saying to you. Yeah, my contacts and sources in Russia are they're shitting bricks. Excuse me for my language. They're worried because what happened in the Oval actually backfired for what they wanted, because even though yes, on the world screen and the social media they were taking pride, laughing. You had Medvedev out there going, talking all kinds of garbage against Zelensky, and there was a ha day. But back and the Kremlin and behind the scenes they were really upset because they need Zelensky to have signed a deal to be under the Trump's thumb, basically, and do what needs to be said. Because right now, with Zelensky in Europe and not under any deal with the United States, they don't have control over him. So that's why now they're pushing towards some kind of an election, some kind of disruption, because they understood that right now Zelensky and Trump doesn't have that same hold over him as he did before that Oval meeting. So I think that meeting that JD Vance and all that, I think that backfired a lot to them. And right now they're in a little bit shambles. And you could see oil prices are going down, which is hurting Russia. Trump, extended the sanctions for another year, which is hurting Russia. Ukraine is hitting all of their major refineries all over Russia, which is hurting Russia. Their economy, the ruble is completely almost destroyed. I don't know how long, another 3 months or 6 months the economy could withstand. So all of that is negative towards Russia. So absolutely, I think those are signs of them worried about what's happening. It's not a good thing.
No, but and actually about the control, it's like one politician in Europe gave an example. He said it's the same thing as a guy and a girl. They go on a date, and the girl does something the guy doesn't like, and he says, get away from me. And then as soon as she walks out the door, a bunch of other guys get around her, and not they want to take her out. And he says, wait a second, I was there first. So now Trump's got to get back in the car somehow, or at least to be in there again, because right now Zelensky is doing what he wants, so to speak, especially cutting the weapons and intelligence. They cut off the intelligence and forbid UK to give the intelligence to Ukraine.
No, I know. I mean, Trump. It's just like I said to you. It's reminding me of I have flashbacks of 2019. The only difference is back then it was all done in the shadows, and Trump was trying to, play a different role when it came to the politicians. But now, it's like he's just doing exactly what he wants done, and he has all of his people in the administration that are now loyal to him, following his orders. And it's like a freight train. You can't even stop it, except for they're going to hit a wall, because like I said, in several of the interviews that I did, they need somebody in there that knows the Ukrainian mentality, that the Russian mentality, if they really want a deal done. If they just want to be speaking, doing speaking points for the Russians and doing whatever the Russians want, yes, they got to keep doing what they're doing, because they're basically just relaying Russian speaking points. But if they really want a deal done, they need to get people in there. Sometimes you need, like, I'm going to say, you need a little shadow diplomacy on this time around. You need some people in there to understand both sides of the matter that could go out there and make the right deal. Because yes, nothing wrong with America getting minerals, and nothing wrong. I think it would be a great thing for Ukraine to have America as their partners and going out there to get minerals. But it has to be the right deal. It can't be a setup deal that the Russians are setting up, where it's going to entrap the United States into a position where they're going to have to then force the Ukrainians to give up a bunch of land to the Russians for them to be able to mine those minerals, without going too deep into it. So Alex, where it was. By the way, I want to thank you, Kim, for getting the book, and I want to thank everybody out there for supporting us, coming out there, watching. We're going to be going out live every. We're going to try to go every day, breaking news with the Trump administration, what's happening in Ukraine. We have breaking news several times a day, so we're going to be trying getting it out to you as much as we can. We have people on the ground in Ukraine. We have people on the ground in Europe. We have a lot of sources, obviously, here with my relationship in Trump world, and we're going to be bringing it to you as it comes along. And I also recommend everybody definitely go subscribe to my Substack because I'm going to be going live there and with the audience and doing a Q&A every day. And this way you'll be able to ask me your questions, and I'll, you don't want to have to type them. You'll be able to speak to me, ask me the questions. I'll be able to answer them, interact, and a lot of other cool and stuff, that information that I'll be able to get to my subscribers. So definitely subscribe. Alex, I think we're going to be going on live a little later on today. I think there's some more breaking news there. I'm just waiting to get confirmation on before we come out. I want to thank you for coming on, and Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава. Thank you for having me, Lev. We'll talk soon.
Have a great day.
All right. God bless.